So our friend Kevin took us out today onto Kolob Terrace just above Zion National Park. You can kind of see this beautiful view and cool waterfall there in the background as we stand on top of the cliff that we're about to rappel. There's Kevin hooking up the anchors, making sure everything's safe. So I hooked up to the rope and headed off, really not knowing if our rope was long enough to get to the bottom. We threw it over the edge, but we couldn't see exactly where it was as the cliff was basically just too big to see all the way down. So I got the pleasure of being able to descend down the cliff there and basically free the rope up, untangle it, check it out while Misha and Kevin waited at the top anxiously to see whether we actually had enough to get down. I had plans to tie a second rope on if that was needed and have to bypass a knot. You can see me down there kind of fiddling with the rope bag and the tangled mess of rope, trying to kind of free things up and clear the way to get down to the bottom. Here's what I had to say for myself once I reached the bottom of this big Kolob cliff. So I just came down a 260-foot rappel out in Kolob. Our friend Kevin took us out to show us where it was at, and luckily our rope was just barely long enough, so we made it down. Let me show you the cliff, and Misha's just about to come off. In fact, that's her right there. And give you an idea again, this cliff is pretty big. Biggest one we've done so far. And the wind is blowing strong. You don't feel it terribly up on the cliff. I think the nerves are going pretty good, so it's really hard to tell. But got up at the top, it is just freezing cold and windy. But down in this little ravine I'm hanging out in, it's not too bad. And if you're not seeing her, that's her right there. So because Misha is legally blind and extremely light sensitive, she has a lot of difficulty with depth perception. So as we were hiking up to the top of this cliff, she was really hoping that she was going to be able to rappel down. It's actually less nerve-wracking for her to rappel these big cliffs than to just down climb the ascent that we took up, just based on kind of the whole depth perception issue. So she was definitely more than relieved to find out that the rope reached the bottom. We didn't have any knots to bypass or anything, and she was actually able to have some fun and get over the edge and take on this cool rappel. So cool. I'm actually going to stop filming so I can get a picture. We'll come back to some video. So Misha ended up making it down the rappel safely, smoothly, no major hang-ups. Did a very, very nice job. This was definitely the biggest rappel by far that we'd done. Next closest one to this 260-foot cliff was about 120, 130. So basically about double the size of what we'd ever done before. So definitely a very cool, random, fun day. Here is a view from the bottom as our rope is hoisted up. Clouds kind of give you a little better idea from the bottom how quick that wind was going. Yeah, that was fun. How do you feel having rappelled? How do you feel?
You're a dork.
It's official. I'm a dork. We're hiking out.